Okay, so today I think the market could, looking at a big daily chart here, I think it looks like we're in a pretty bull flag that we could get a pop here. So looking at a 15-minute chart, I think that looks pretty reasonable. We're at this uptrend or this resistance level with this uptrend into it. We keep making these stabs and selling off. And so it's likely that we're eventually just going to break it and could get some momentum up. I don't think we're going to have a crazy move like this, but we could have, definitely a decent move. Something that's worth, on a day trade, a nice trade in a good way. So ideally, though, for me, we're knocking against this. I'm not going to go long, right, at this level. Ideally, we get some kind of, like on a 1 minute here or a 5 minute here, we get a pullback, retest this, and then push higher. Because why I would like that is it would essentially be faking shorts to the downside. It could be a move like this for just a little while. Get people short thinking that, okay, we're at this resistance level, we're going to sell off. And instead, it does a little fake and then rips up. And so that's what I would really like to see in the NASDAQ and the ES today. Looking at other couple markets here, oil just has sucked over this last month. So just because it's just choppy and back and forth, there's no good structure. For a little while, it was in kind of a nice little range that was a little more tradable, but recently it's just been an uptrend slop and then a big sell off out of nowhere. So just avoiding that for now. Gold is kind of in an uptrend too, without any good resistance levels close, but it looks like potentially it's blown the top off this uptrend here. And when I see that, that to me is an indicator that the trend that it's currently in is over. And so that means either it could go into a more parabolic uptrend, or it could start to go sideways, or it could start to go down. It's essentially showing that, hey, the shift is changing here. It's, out of its norm of butting up into this, trend line here. And so that's something to pay attention to. But again, like for me, I don't really see much in terms of levels to trade off of there, and that's what I really like to go off of. And so if anything, I'd like to see a confirmation of maybe it comes up here and sells off, or if it comes up here and looks really good, maybe I'll take a quick short just to capture a quick little pullback down. Other than that, though, I think there's minor news today at 8 o'clock, as kind of usual with the markets, 30 minutes after the open. So just kind of going to wait it, see. Market opens up in 10 minutes. So just going to see how things play out and see if we can get some movement and the market sets up how I want and I can take a trade. And if it doesn't, I'll move on to the next day. In a market where it's just hard and choppy and not good trading, you want to have a setup that you're looking for. And if it does that, you execute. And if it doesn't, you just move on. Otherwise, you're just going to lose money. Okay, being patient here. I think it's going to keep going down. This seems like a lot of momentum, but we're in a spot I would like to take a long if it's going to set up. My bias was, or my big picture thought was to the long side. Now, this is a crazy looking failed breakout with a big sell off. But you know what? The market has just been fakey lately and back and forth. And so I think that almost makes it more likely that it's going to reverse higher. And so I'm just going to keep watching both of these. I almost think, has the ES sold off more? Yeah, it definitely has. So I'm seeing how it reacts to 30 minutes, that timing window of 30 minutes after the open at 8 o'clock for me. If it breaks this, it's starting to slow down here. It's had this big move down. This is almost like a slow, big candlestick attempt to keep going lower. And then we got some more chop here, and it's attempting to go higher right now. Okay, so in terms of getting long here, I want to see how both these are acting. And I want to wait for, I think, one more quick pullback, but then I think potentially long is in order. And I'm not going to do big size. Market's been really tricky lately. It's already kind of had a swing today. You know, it's kind of already given this swing back, and I really would prefer to go large size of, you know, risking like $2,000 on a trade on a short, just because those really work a lot better. So I'm just kind of letting this play out, seeing how it breaks up here. It's making a new high. I want to see how it pulls back. I'd like to see it pull back and then get long. ES is pretty much the same. Again, we're pretty much right at these support levels. So I wanna be getting long here. My hope is that it doesn't just rocket up without me. It totally could. You know, there could have been an entry sooner, but you know, I'm erring on the side of caution in this tricky market. I'd rather be cautious and miss maybe one or two trades here when trading has just been really tricky. But you know, right now is that decision point of, well, is it fake to go higher and now it's just going to continue puking lower? Or is it failing to go lower and it's going to go higher? So just waiting on that. Seeing how this candlestick develops. Okay, crazy spike. I don't want to get in right on that. I want to see how it pulls back. But I think if it moves up and then pulls down and re-pushes, I'm going to get in long. So I'm going to get in long essentially at a break of this. Be great if it has just a little bit of a pullback, so I'm not getting in just on crazy momentum. Okay. I'm in long, moving this up. And seeing what we can do here. I would, just going 2x would be great, just to get some kind of win, since I really haven't taken that many trades recently. I keep hotkeying this on. But you know, again, big picture, like I'm liking this, and I think that the strength is to the upside. ES looks pretty much the same too, but NASDAQ was clearly the better choice as it's kind of bounced back a little bit more. Yeah, just kind of gotta let this play out now. I think ideally I go for 2x, take off maybe half at 2x, and then let the rest kind of ride. We'll see what the market kind of brings though, because remember, big picture, if I'm looking at, here we go, the 15-minute chart. Kind of hard with some of the drawings, but I mean, I'm trying to look to see if this bear bull flag can kind of continue higher. Now we had that little breakout in the morning, but if over the day it just trends higher, it'd be awesome to have a couple of contracts for that. So it's playing around here, and part of me wants to go break even, but I'm not going to go break even yet because I think, big picture, I think this is a good spot. And I think there's total potential for it to come down here, have a pullback, and then continue higher. I don't think that it's likely to have just a parabolic one-directional move that's easy to hold on to. I want to give it that wiggle room to have a pullback, you know, because ES here, this could be the uptrend it has. If I draw this uptrend, it could be something like this. But again, like I think big picture, you know, that's what I want to play off of, and I need to give it that wiggle room, right? Okay, so that's kind of the pullback I'm looking for. So that's exactly why I don't go to break even, because if you look at where my break even line would be, holy moly, I would be ticked off if I got knocked out right there. I'm gonna adjust this uptrend line because I think that's pretty dang close. And then I'm probably going to move my stop up to here, just because if it comes up here and sells off, I think, again, this market's just kind of choppy. It's not a good, easy, favorable market. I think it's likely to, I've given it kind of that wiggle room. And so, I want to give it wiggle room, but I don't want to give it too much, right? To just make a loss out of nowhere. And so I'm going to move my stop up here. I may see how this pullback here works, just to see if it makes one more stab lower and then move. My one thought is if it wants to just come and like retest this spike up that it had, but I'm gonna leave my stop here. I'm really feeling some indecision about leaving it here or moving it back down to here, but that's plenty of wiggle room to give it. Otherwise you could perpetually just move your stop forever. My goal is to let it spike this once, kind of like it is here, and see if it breaks up higher. Okay, this is one thing I wanted to see. I wanted to see the ES break this low as a confirmation that the ES is kind of bearish too. But it's funny, on a 5-minute, this still, 5-minute, this still looks solid. We could just be putting in a higher low on a 5-minute. So it's hard, but that's how choppy markets are. They're really hard to trade. It's just, there's so many what ifs, or it could just pull back here and then go higher, because the moves take a lot longer. That's why I do like to give it some more wiggle room, but also get out when it does do the move you're looking for. And it started that, but I think I would have needed to get up here before I would have started ratcheting up the trade. Otherwise, just going for 1-to-1 just isn't really worth the risk. Even at a smaller size. So I think this is just going to continue lower and break, but anything's possible with the market. You never know. The ES is bouncing in a nice spot. We're just going into a chop fest now. I mean, hopefully, this is a nice break. And so there's definitely potential to keep going higher here. I think at this point, I'm going to move my stop up below this low. If we break this high, I'm going to move to break even. Might as well take risk off the table. No need to do that not do that in a crazy choppy market. I think also I'll move my sell stop down to take off a lot of the trade at 2x if it does get up there. Yeah, I'm gonna move up to break even at this point. No point in losing money on this trade now if it decides to move down. And I think if we just get up to somewhere up here, I'm gonna really think about getting out, because there's, we're most likely, based on this, is we're gonna move up and just chop. But I would like to leave until we get up to that area. I'd like to leave my limit order at 2x. I think I'm just gonna have both at 2x. I'm not even gonna mess around. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Come on, just a bit more, please. Sorry, I'm having breakfast. I'm starving. I would really love this to hit 2x. I would really love it to hit 2x here. I want to be patient, but as well, like, it feels so likely that it just, boop. I'm not good at just getting out on spikes like that. I would like to see, I think, one more, like, print one more candle up here, and then I'll just pull my stop up to 1x. You know, essentially retest this high. Well, it's essentially retesting this high too. Like in a way, you could say we have a minor support here, or yeah, support now. It was resistance, and so it'd be awesome to see it hold that, and then continue higher. And you know, I feel antsy of wanting to close this out because it's actually a nice amount of profit. It feels impossible to make money in this market, so anytime you get a little, it just feels like you want to hold on to it. Okay, so I'm gonna move this up to the low here, the low of this candle, and then we're just gonna see how this plays out. I'm just gonna let this chug higher. Honestly, if it just wants to continue chugging higher, I kind of want to just do a trailing. It's so hard. Like, part of me is like, oh, since we have some momentum here, do I just do a trailing stop? But from what I'm seeing, the smart move is just to get out at 2x, call it a day, be happy with 2x, because it's so likely that this is just going to pull back here and reverse. We're at these highs. I'm just going to post this to my room, what I'm doing. And so, yeah, it's really close to me wanting to pull this up higher. I think I'll pull this up to just the previous candlestick, this one. See how this next one develops. ES is looking the same. You know, big picture, I do think this is going to move up more. I mean, I think it's a really good big picture play. But with just how the market is acting, it's getting close actually to 9 o'clock, which is another reversal timing where I kind of find that the market likes to slow down. So that kind of timing with this level, it's kind of worth just to get out. So I'm just going to leave things where they are and trail up my stop loss. And whichever knocks me out, knocks me out. Starting to slow down here. I think if it gets anywhere like up here, I'm just gonna like trail this pretty aggressively. Because again, it's just kind of getting close to my limit. And I'm not really moving my limit up. So close here. So close. It looks like it's gonna just pop up and get it. Come on. Moving up below this candle. Come on, come on, come on. Nice. There we go. Sick. Done deal.